So today's topic is going to be talking about loneliness, yeah? Being able to endure loneliness. Like, believe me, I've endured loneliness. Like, what's crazy? Like, we always think we need someone to do shit with, like, to go somewhere, to go, like, Notting Hill Carnival, to go to the cinema, to go to a restaurant. Like, we all, like, we're insecure and that we need people to do things. And I used to be very insecure myself. Oh, I need someone to go with me to this event, or nah, fuck that shit, man. Like, don't let people hold you back. If you want to do something, you can just go regardless. Yeah. Like, even just going to the restaurant alone. I used to think that was such a scary thing. But now I remember one time I just walked into Nando's and I was like, yeah, table for one. How about that? Yeah. And then there was like, there's like tables where people sit alone. There were a few of those. So there was a guy next to me. He was like some corporate guy, and he was alone. And I ended up like talking to him for a bit anyway. He was next to me, and no one really gives a shit. It's only in our own heads, right? We think everyone's judging us, but they're not really. Like, they just got their own shit to deal with. So it doesn't even matter at the end of the day. So yeah, like I feel like, well, I know for a fact that people feel like, I'm not going to go to this event because he or she can't come with me. You're limiting yourself. You're restricting yourself. If you're saying that you have to rely on them coming with you, that means you're limiting your options. I'm trying to think of examples of when I've just done shit. Like, I even remember one time I was actually going through like a breakup with my first ex, and I just went to the cinema alone. I was watching this like rom-com film, sitting in the corner, but still, like, even just the ability to do things alone, like, it gave me confidence, right? Solo travel, of course. Like, I wanted to just travel, and I don't think any of like friends or boys were down, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go alone. So I went to Cyprus alone for 7 nights. This is when I was working in finance. Yeah. Got a 5-star resort, had a balcony, hired a moped. It was 11 euros a day. That driving that 50cc run down moped was the best thing about the whole trip. Done quad biking, parasailing, scuba diving. It was like one of the best holidays of my life. I remember even on the aeroplane, like, I was like nervously speaking to the guy next to me. Like, sometimes I talk a lot out of nervousness, even though I'm realizing now the power of silence. And you feel like, oh, people are judging you. But one of my boys said this to me. Shout out to Dan. He said, like, if they're judging you, even if they are judging you, then fuck them anyway. They're probably not, but even if they are, then fuck them anyway. You know what I mean? So it takes courage. I remember at breakfast in the buffet, like, all these couples were there. I was just there, like, sitting back with my tank top. I was just like cutting my pancakes. I felt like James fucking Bond, being out there alone. So yeah, like, and also when you're alone, it forces you to speak to other people. Like, when you're in groups, you have to, like, you don't socialize with other people. You only stick to the same people that you're with. And when you're alone, you're forced to speak to other people. I remember I went on this like boat trip, and it was all couples. Like, it was like 4 couples, and this was in Cyprus. It was like this speedboat, and I was sitting at the back, and then I was chatting to the captain. He even let me drive the boat because I negotiated my way in, whereas all the other 4 couples were just sitting there, like, and I was at the back. Like, there were 2 guys, I was chatting to them, driving the boat. It was live. Whereas if I was with my couple, then I would have just been sitting there like the rest of them, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, like, don't be afraid to do things alone. Like I said, people ain't even judging you, and even if they are, fuck them anyway. Because at the end of the day, you're living life for yourself. You shouldn't be limited by other people. Something I still need to improve on myself is even going to the cinema alone. Now I'd find that still hard, and even going to a restaurant alone, I'd still find that hard. But again, it's about what I was talking about before with cold showers, with cold approach. It's about doing things that are hard, continuously doing things that are hard. I remember I went to this like DJ battle in London, right? I went alone because I had no one to go with, and in the end, I ended up chatting to this girl. and then I stayed for a bit longer. Then I was vibing. I was close to leaving. In the break, like I said, I chatted to that girl, and then I stayed, and then I was vibing. And I had a sick time chatting to people there. I actually on the train back, I met these guys who worked for Red Bull, like in terms of the like F1 team. So they knew Max Verstappen. Chatting to them, like got his number, as a contact. So yeah, like it all ties back to liberation. Is the word, like I said when I was talking about doing cold approach with no words. It's liberation. It's doing things without fear of judgment and doing it anyway. Do it for yourself. You do things that challenge you. You don't stay in your comfort zone, right? Like so many people, I see them, I feel like they're just in couples and they're just fucking like, you can't even go to places like, you feel like, say if you go out, like you have to be with someone. Like say if you go to Notting Hill Carnival and then you get pulled away from your group, you should be able to have the confidence to walk through that crowd alone. That obviously is to not taking into account that safety in numbers, but I'm just talking about the ability. So say if you get lost like from your group on a night out, or you just like you just end up alone, you should be able to like navigate alone. Even like going to I've been to a few networking events alone, walk into the room, introduce yourself. You don't need someone there. Like, motherfucker, I work as a DJ. I fucking walk into that room. Like, I do private events. I don't know fucking anyone there. I walk in, I don't know anyone. Everyone's staring at me. I set up, I play music, just build a relationship with the client. And then I pack down, and everyone's a stranger, right? And it's about building that rapport with the clients. And I don't fucking know anyone in that room. So it's about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and not just relying on other people to be with you. Because if you rely on them to be with you, you'll be bound to them and you'll be limited. And then after I went to Cyprus, I even 3 months later, one of my other friends, he actually gave me an idea. He was like, I said to him, I'm planning on traveling again, and then there was like a boys trip plan, but it fell through. We were going to go to Barcelona, and then he said to me, oh, like, we're going like solo travel thing. I was like, you know what, fuck it, yeah, I will. So I went to Portugal. So I did the same thing I did in Cyprus, in Portugal, 7 nights. Hired a 125cc moped this time. Went around. Wasn't as good as Cyprus, but it was still lit. Still wicked, just driving that moped completely alone, felt free, going to beaches alone. It just gave me like a lot of confidence. So I would say, don't be afraid to do things alone. It's really not as deep as we initially think, and there is that thing. Changing topic a little bit, called the lonely chapter, which is what Chris Williams talks about, and Mike Thurston. When you outgrow your old friends, but you haven't yet found your new friends, you have to endure loneliness. Remember, we came into this life alone. We'll fucking leave alone as well. Like when we're in school, we're always around people. When we're at uni, like if you haven't got the ability to endure solitude, then you're limiting yourself, and it gives like it's something that you need to have in your arsenal to walk without anyone. I do consider myself kind of a lone wolf anyway, but when you're in groups, then it feels even more exciting, because I'm like, I can handle being alone, but now I'm in a group. It's live, right? But you don't rely on that. You don't like. Yeah, you're not cushioned by that. So it's just a liberating feeling. So yeah, solo travel is a great way to do that, to push yourself. Obviously, for girls out there, make sure you're safe. It's different for guys and girls. Solo travel, I'll say is way like safer for guys, but still, like I rate anyone that travels solo, that does things solo. Even if a guy came up to me, I don't go out anymore or any of that shit, like clubbing, but not anymore. Like if I saw that a guy was alone clubbing, I would actually rate that, and I would go up to him. If I spoke to him, I would say, you know what, I rate that you were here alone. So push yourself out of the comfort zone. Don't rely on other people, you feel me? And develop your arsenal to be not reliant on them, you get me? So let's do this thing, man. Peace.